What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Today we're going to be flying the fly-by-wire A320 from KIAD, Washington Dulles, to Boston, KBOS. And it is currently raining, and I believe that it's raining for most of the trip, including in Boston, which should make for, a pretty fun flight. Rains have been pretty crazy in this area recently, so I thought it would be a great time to fly and be a little bit less boring. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my battery 1 and battery 2 on, and I'm going to go external power. We will get our overhead lights on so we can see. We'll go nav 1, 2, 3, crew supply, wing light, nav and logo light, no smoking signs on, and emergency exit lights armed. That'll be the start of that, and we'll come down here. We'll get our panel lights on. We'll get our screens turned up just a little bit. We don't need it too much, just enough that we can see. And we'll get some button lights and floodlights and everything going. That way we can see everything we're doing. Now today we do not have a jetway that will reach to us. I don't know why the game parked us like that, but that's okay. We're still going to simulate our boarding. It's just going to be a little less realistic because of the jetway not being there. So we'll go weight and balance. We'll send for our weight and balance request from SimBrief, and we'll start the boarding process. We'll go here, ATSU, AOC menu, init press, verify that our flight plan is there and correct. We'll go to init and request our flight plan. There we go. So let's clear these notices here. We'll go to flight plan. We'll pull up our flight plan and take a look at our departure and arrival. So we're going to be departing runway 1 right, Jacoby 4, and the Swan transition. So KIAD, departure, runway 1 right, Jacoby 4, and the Swan transition. Insert. All right, and our arrival, we'll go KBOS. Arrival is going to be runway 4 right, ILS. Yeah, runway 4 right via the Roebuck 3, and the JFK transition. So we'll insert that, and then we'll put in the JFK transition there. And there we are. That is our flight plan. So we'll double check this. Turn our constraints on. We'll go to plan mode. We'll go to here, and let's go to the start. So we will fly out. We would normally get vectors onto our first leg, but we're going to just manually do that. Normally that would be through ATC. But just check and make sure all these legs are right and there's no issues. Everything looks pretty good to me, so we'll go ahead and set that back to arc mode, and we have to put a little more information here under performance. So we're going to be going flaps 1, which is going to generate our V speeds, V1, V2, V3. We'll go next phase, next phase, next phase, and next phase. Our QNH and temperature, oh, we haven't imported it here yet. There we go. All right, for Boston is 3006, 60 at 19. So 3006 060 at 019. Our temperatures are 8 degrees Celsius. We'll put in 8 degrees here, and we will get our approach information, or our altimeter for the approach. So runway 4 right. So we'll open charts here. We'll go approach runway 4 right, and we'll take a look down here. For ILS, it is going to be 218 on the barometer. 218, and our ILS frequency is going to be 110.3, 110.3. 110.3. I always check this because the plane doesn't generally get the right frequency. And that call out that we just heard was letting us know that everyone has boarded the plane. So everybody is on the plane. All right. We're not too far away from pushback, so we're going to go ahead and get our APU going. We'll toggle our seatbelt lights on, and we'll get our beacon on just to let people know we're going to be moving soon.
Captain, the first officer and cabin's crew, I'd like to take this time to welcome you aboard our flight. We're just wrapping up some paperwork up front here and waiting to receive final numbers from the ground crew, then we'll be on our way. Flight attendants will be coming from the cabin shortly with a very important safety briefing. We do ask that you give them your full, undivided attention as they review the safety operations of this Airbus aircraft. We do appreciate your business having you aboard this flight. If there's anything we do to make your flight any more enjoyable, please don't hesitate to ask. Welcome aboard.
All right, there's our welcome message.
We'd like to welcome you on board. Your safety is our top priority, so we appreciate a few minutes of your attention while we demonstrate the safety features of this aircraft. You can follow along with the safety information card in your seatback pocket. Please fasten your seatbelt and insert the flat metal edge into the buckle and pull on the strap to tighten. The release should lift the top flap of the buckle.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and close our door and let them finish up what they're doing back there with the safety briefing and everything. We're gonna get everything turned on here. It looks like we have everything just about set where we need it.
Strap tight. As you exit the aircraft, in place best by pulling down firmly on the red tabs or blowing into the tubes on both sides. A locator light on the shoulder will turn on automatically in motor and
Our excuse me, our APU is on, so we will go off of ground power. We'll make sure our fuel pumps are all turned on. We will turn our engines to start ignition mode, and we will call for our tug. Now, while we're waiting for our tug, we're going to pull up our flight plan and take a look at the taxi chart. For runway 1 right. All right, so our taxi chart shows that we're basically backing out tail to the left and going to, we can either go to Juliet or King and follow that all the way down to the runway. That's pretty simple taxi. So we'll close out of that. Our tug is connected and ready to go. Everything looks to be good. So we will go ahead and release our parking brake and start our pushback and get our first engine going.
thank you for your attention, and we hope you enjoyed this experience.
All right, and we're going to start our left turn now. Engine's coming up pretty good. You can see the sun trying to peek through the rain there. All right, and we will cancel our tug there. Let it come to a stop. Put our brake on, and we'll let the tug know we're done with them. Engine 1 is up to 15. We can get engine 2 going here in just a second. On the N1, looking for 19. There it goes, engine 2. In the meantime, we'll arm our speed brakes, get our flaps set to 1, and arm our auto brakes to max. We'll wait for our engine to come out. You see the flaps coming out there. Now during departure, we're probably going to do this view because it lets you see a lot more of the ground. So instead of having a big engine blocking your view, just waiting on that second engine to come all the way up. Then we'll flick on, well, we can flick on our taxi lights now since we're sitting on a taxiway. It's almost there. N1 is at 16, looking for 19. And there it is. So we'll go ahead and switch this back to normal mode. Go to our overhead panel and we'll click off our APU. And we are ready for taxi. All right, so we will release our brake. And we will head down to, let's see, what are we heading to? Either Juliet or King. Looks like the weather's trying to break, but we're definitely gonna be flying out through some rain here. Try and give it a little more throttle. There we go. And we're gonna follow this straight down until we have the second right. We're gonna turn onto. We're gonna shoot for King. Hope you guys are enjoying this. If you are, be sure to drop a like, leave a comment. If there's somewhere you want me to fly out of, let me know. I will be flying the CRJ in the near future as well, just to have a different plane and do some smaller airports. All right, so not this first turn here, but the second turn we're gonna make. There we are. We're gonna follow this all the way down to our runway, and we're gonna be riding parallel to it. Weather's been pretty crappy in the Northeast, so like I said, I'm suspecting that we're gonna have some clouds and rain coverage all throughout this flight, probably underneath of us at some point. But we are flying Washington, D.C. to Boston. We're doing the JFK transition, so we'll go right over New York. You know, New York City, Manhattan and everything. Get a little more speed here. This is the second time I've flown out of rain, and if we land in rain, it'll be the second time I've landed in rain in my series of videos. KPDX had some pretty rough weather, and I forget where the other place was, but it was raining. Oh, Newark. We flew out in Newark, New Jersey, with a lot of rain there too. Both videos are on my channel. Feel free to go take a look at them. It's going to be the same as usual. We're going to get take off, get into our climb. Shortly after, I'll leave just the game sounds running, and I won't have too much dialogue until we reach our descent. And once we start descending, I'll jump back in and start commentating again. Feel free to enjoy the whole video. If it helps you sleep, that's great. If not, there will be timestamps on the video for you to jump to the areas that you want to see. All right, looks like our next left is going to be onto the runway. Just down a little bit here. Try and get a little bit more speed here. Although we are approaching our left turn. Gonna be two left turns. We're gonna be taking the second one on Juliet. We do have a full cabin, so we need as much runway as we can. We'll go ahead and start slowing down a little bit here. We're gonna make a left. And there we are. We'll go ahead and come to a stop here for a moment. Armor brake. All right, we're gonna turn our strobe on, our runway turn on lights, our landing lights, and our takeoff lights can come on as well. I think everything is good. Our seatbelt lights is on. No smoking. Everything is good. Our flaps are set. Our speed brake is set. Our auto brakes are set. And we are good to go. We're gonna go right to this waypoint once we're up in the air. Our altitude is set and we're good. Let's go ahead and pull up onto the runway here. Only 11 knot wind. We'll be all right. All right, and we're ready for takeoff. So we are going to set our throttles 50%. Let them get wound up. And we're gonna go takeoff power. Airspeed is alive. Try and hold that center line. Knots. Here comes our V1, and rotate. Positive climb, we'll gear up. Nose down just a little bit so that we can reach our slat speeds. Make sure we're still climbing here. We reached our slat speeds. We'll go ahead and put our flaps in. A little bit low, so we'll angle up some, and we can go ahead and hit our autopilot and get our autopilot direct to here. Set that. Pull our levers back to climb mode. Flaps are in. We can turn off our speed brakes. We no longer need them armed. There's a wing view. Wow, it looks like we're gonna climb right out of these clouds. It may even be a nighttime approach. We may fly into Boston in the dark. That departure went pretty well. Jump back in the cockpit here, make sure everything is working right. We're looking for 10,000. At 10,000, we're going to turn off all our lights. And then our next our next point is going to be 18,000 when we have to change our altimeter to standard mode. Clouds look beautiful here. It's nice and dark underneath. You can see all the towns down there, the little like communities getting rained on. And we're just gonna truck away right through all that. $6,500 and climbing. to get these turned up now that there's some sunlight up here. I'm gonna start a right-hand turn here in just a moment. We can go ahead and get our runway turn-off light turned off. Our landing lights can come off. And our takeoff and taxi lights can come off. There's our right-hand turn. We'll jump in a wing view and take a look at that. Beautiful clouds in this game. Very, very immersive and realistic. We'll level off here in just a minute. Completed our turn. Man, look at them clouds. Lots of storms going on out here. We'll go ahead and jump back in the cockpit. Make sure everything is good. We're at 11,500, climbing for 36,000. Everything seems to be going well. We're out of the clouds. We're away from turbulence more than likely. Well, any low altitude turbulence. We'll go ahead and toggle off our seatbelt signs. Continue heading up to 18,000. All right, we'll jump back in the cockpit here. Coming up on 15,500, looking for 18,000. Some crazy looking clouds out there. All right, coming up on 18,000. Go ahead and switch this over to standard mode. And with that being said, we'll stay in the wing view for most of the flight, and I will come back and continue the dialogue once we're closer to our descent. Hope you enjoy the flight.
gentlemen, once again to the flight deck, your captain speaking. We've just reached our cruising altitude for the flight. As we begin to settle in, I do want to remind you to please keep your seat elbows clear from the aisle as the flight attendants will be coming through the cabin with galley carts shortly. Also, one more reminder to please refrain from congregating near the front galley where the flight deck door is located. Thank you. the flight deck, ladies and gentlemen. As you may have noticed, we have begun our initial descent down to our destination. Now would be a good time to wrap up any business you need to take care of as we prepare for our approach. If you are up, once you return to your seat, we ask that you remain seated until the aircraft arrives safely at the gate. Flight attendants, please prepare the cabin for arrival.
Alright guys, welcome back. We have already begun our initial descent. We are coming down to flight level 230 right now, which is the altitude for our first leg on the Roebuck 3 approach into Boston. Our next waypoint, once we cross over this one, we're going to be heading down to 21,000 and then 17, 16, so on and so forth. It was a beautiful sunset, beautiful colors in the sky. I hope you guys got to see that and enjoy that. We do have our lights in here and everything on so we can see, and about to cross over that waypoint now, as you can see, and we're going to go ahead and set it down to 21,000, and we'll go ahead and activate that. Once we cross over this waypoint, we'll start that, and there we go, crossing over that now. Beautiful colors in the sky. I absolutely love the clouds and the lighting effects and everything in Flight Sim. They did an absolutely great job on this. Very immersive, makes it feel very real. Now, below us is probably going to be a bunch of storms. So I'm expecting that we're going to be flying into some pretty rough weather. We'll go ahead and update this. So 3010, we'll go ahead and go into our performance mode here and update our information. 3010 on the altimeter. Temperature is 8 degrees and 70 at 15 knots. 070 at 15 knots. 070 at 015. And we'll put that in there just to update our system. After our next waypoint, we're going to be dropping down to 17,000, which will be taking us down to below our 18,000 transition altitude. So we'll have to input the altimeter at that point. So we'll cross Ruiz at 21,000, and then we're down to 17,000. I suspect a lot of this descent is probably going to be in and out of the clouds here, as you're seeing now. It's not going to be a whole lot to see because we're going to be flying into some crazy weather and probably lots of rain. So should make for a fun landing. We have everything ready to go. I don't know why this is so bright, but I know there's a way to turn this down. There we go. That thing was screaming bright. All right, so we're about 24 miles out from Ruiz, or Ruse. And then we'll right down to 17,000 after that. Hopefully we don't have any issues during our descent and, you know, heading down to the runway. We already activated our seatbelt signs in anticipation of some possible turbulence because we're going through some stormy weather and clouds and different pressure systems. So we, as a precaution, we put on our seatbelt signs. If anybody's flying at nighttime and they're curious, your dome light is right here, and there's two different settings to it. So you can do bright or medium or completely off. About 13 miles out from Ruse. See the stars coming in. That's pretty cool. See a little bit of the cities down there, or towns. Jump back in the plane here. Looking about 9 miles, 8 miles out from our next waypoint. Go ahead and set this down to 17. Let the altitude constraint hold us until we're good to go. Alright, there we are, about to cross over that constraint, or that waypoint. And heading down to 17,000. Altimeter's 3010. Just refresh that, 3010. Coming up on 19,000. And there's 19,000, heading to 18,000. 3010, we'll go ahead and get this set now. There we go. Slight right turn onto our next waypoint. We can head down to 16,000. And that one's pretty close. So right after that one, we can head down to 12,000. And we'll turn it down to 12. Kick a little bit of speed brake in here. slow her down a little bit. Our speeds have to come down. Our altitude has to come down a little more, down to 11. We're holding at 13, or we're crossing 13 now, 13,000. Our descent slowed down a little bit while our plane corrects for the speed. Keep our speed brakes on for now. And we can go ahead and kick them off. Looks like we're doing okay. Coming up on 11,000 now. Next waypoint, we're down to 9,000. Just hit that button. I don't even know what that button is. Can't quite see it. Metric altitude. Oh, okay. There we are, crossing over that waypoint. We're gonna head down to 11, or down to 9, my apologies. Crossing that 10,000 mark, we'll go ahead and get our landing lights on. Toggle on our wing light. I'll put a little more speed brake in again. After 9, we're going to be down to 7. We're at 9 now. We'll go ahead and release our speed brakes here. You see the stormy weather ahead of us there. Very, very low cloud ceiling out there. Speeds are coming down. And we're gonna head down to 7,000 here in just a second. This is the chart we're following here. 7,000, 6,000. Give a little speed brake. Still overspeeding a little bit, or not overspeeding, but we're not gonna make that altitude. There we go. Now we will. And our speed should be kicking down here in a second. Again, we'll add some speed brake. Got to really manage our speeds here. We are at our flap speed, but I would like to wait until we until our speeds get set to 210, which should happen here momentarily. Our next altitude is going to be down to 3,000. We do have runways in sight out there. We can go ahead and kick our localizer on, which I think will pretty much immediately get locked onto. We'll bring our speeds down to 210, which will allow us, you can activate approach. Let's get our flaps going first. We'll go flaps 1, set our speed back to auto, and we'll toggle our approach. Try and get locked onto the ILS. And that's a positive lock on the ILS. So we'll go ahead and kick on our runway turn-off lights. We'll get our takeoff lights turned on. Our strobe is already set. We will arm our speed brakes, set our auto brakes to medium, drop our gear, go another notch of flaps, and we are on our final approach. Thought there was going to be lots of rain here. Luckily there isn't. It's just an overcast. It looks like the rain was off to our right, a little bit east of us. We found a nice little pocket to fly in and land in. There's our outer marker beeping, if you can hear that. That was our outer marker. And we will go full flaps. Everything looks good. We're all set for our landing. We can actually switch to a left wing view. Because once we get up here, we're going to fly over the water a little bit, and there's not going to be much to see out the right side. Speeds are good. Glide slope is locked. Localizer's locked. Everything is looking very good. Seatbelt lights are on. All our landing lights and everything is on. Landing gear is down.
$2,500. $2,500. $2,500.
Mm-hmm. Continuing on that 3-degree glide slope. A little bit of a headwind, about 36 knots headwind, 36 knot headwind. Everything's looking good. We are flying a little bit crabbed, so when we right when we touch down, we're gonna have to kick some rudder in to straighten us out. But we're flying into that headwind. They did a great job with the way they light up the streets below and the towns and everything. Very, very good job on that. Looks really good. I do wish they would work on the cities. You can see the skyscrapers just off the wing right there, and they're basically just black buildings. I wish they would work on the lighting for them. Make them a little bit more exciting to see. And, you know, just make them stand out a little bit different. See Boston just off to the left there. All right, go ahead and get our rudder pedals prepared here. Man, we're coming right over this little island here. Gonna be very close. Very close flyover. Hopefully it's all industrial. Nobody actually lives here. Man, that would be a very loud and annoying place to live. Oh, it looks like it's the rail yard.
300.
Right. 300.
200. 100.
Whoa. Whoa.
50.
All
40.
right, let's clicked off.
30.
It's all right.
20. Retard. Retard.
We got it. We're good.
Retard. Retard.
And reverse thrust. Ooh, man, that was a little bit crazy right there. I said our ILS. Our autopilot kicked off on its own there, unexpectedly, which is why we drifted in that. All right, hold on. Good. Which is why we drifted in that headwind there. Whew. All right, we got it though. That's why you have your hands and everything ready on the controls, just in case something like that happens. I taxi over to the terminals over here. We got off a little bit later than expected. We're gonna go ahead and stop here for a second. We'll put our brakes on. We'll get our flaps all the way in. We can unarm our speed brakes. And I would like to get our APU going. Runway turn-off lights can come off. Landing lights can come off. Strobe light can come off. Takeoff lights can get set to taxi light. And everything else will stay on. All right. We'll leave the dome light on for now. We'll go ahead and start taxiing forward. We're gonna taxi via November, or Romeo to November, cross runway 22 right, and November to Alpha to the terminals. So we're gonna continue straight here. Welcome to Boston. There's a plane off the left. No, never mind. That's not a plane. That's the windsock. Look like a plane. All right. Head left here. We're gonna cross runway 22 right here. There's runway 22 right. Continue left here. Very good. If you guys are enjoying these videos, feel free to drop a like, leave a comment. If there's somewhere you want me to fly, let me know. And I'll make a video flying there or out of there. This was the fly-by-wire A320 mod. I absolutely love this mod. Washington, D.C. to Boston. And welcome to Boston. We're gonna cross runway 15 here, 15 left. Continue down the taxiway and cross 15 right. And crossing 15 right. We'll continue around here. There we are. Oh. And we will turn into this terminal here. And there we are. Go ahead and kick off our, or kick on our brake there. We'll get our taxi lights off so we're not blinding everybody in front of us. Beacon light can come off. Our APU is ready, so we just need to shut down our engines here. So we'll shut down engine 1 and engine 2. And we're gonna get a pop-up here. We'll click continue. We'll see if we can get the jetway. Yep, it will come over. There we go. We'll go ahead and unlock our door and start the deboarding process. Now the engines are down, we'll go on external power and we'll turn the APU off. And there you have it, guys. Washington, D.C. to Boston. Hope you guys enjoyed the flight, and I'll see you guys in the next video.